Good morning, commissioners, ex officios, for the record, my name is Lisa McLean, legislative policy manager. Today we're here to talk about the PEP2, a petition related to allowing chips to be sold using debit cards. It was submitted by Jan Espejo from Light and Wonder in Las Vegas, Nevada. They are proposing to amend WAC 23015.150, allowing chips to be sold using debit cards. The petitioner feels that this change is needed to enable them to use their new product, tabletop ATM, that allows players to pay for chips using a debit card without leaving the table. Currently, only cash is allowed to purchase chips at a gaming table, and all other transactions take place at the cashier's table or at an ATM. There are no requirements regarding where the ATM is located within each card room, and players may obtain cash or cash advances from their debit or credit cards at the ATM. Allowing debit card transactions at tables might allow for more control over cash withdrawals. In Nevada, operators can set daily limits on the amount of cash patrons are allowed to withdraw from their accounts, and these limits are set for each patron and require a 24-hour waiting period. Currently, such limits do not exist. In addition, a responsible gaming message is displayed on a printed item given to the patron. Other potential controls with the use of debit transactions may be less cash being transferred between patrons and operators, and less chance for operators accepting counterfeit bills. So, well, the petitioner asked for a rule change on 23015.150. We ended up coming up with a lot of other WACs that needed to be changed. And in March, you all asked us to file some amended rules, some new rules for further discussion. At the April 2023 meeting, commissioners expressed interest in seeing some research on the correlation between speed of play and problem gambling. If you recall, that we had no specific information about the use of an ATM at the table, but there might be some issue about speed of play. And so we've included in your packets some links to some research and a one-line summary of what we found out about that. Then stakeholder feedback, we've had a stakeholder feedback session in September, also met with tribal partners in September. We received an email from that stakeholder feedback. The gaming industry was in favor of this. 14 participants were there. And then we also heard on the 29th of September from Paul Milborn, whose affiliation is unknown, who was concerned about speed of play issues. And I put into this full summary, summarize the language that Taylor Russell from the assistant director from the Evergreen Council on Problem Gambling, the comments that she made to us March 12, 2023 meeting regarding speed of play, regarding limit setting devices and what, whether or not the agency would determine whether or not to set limits, or whether or not a person would be able to set limits on that. So that's included there. So as noted, we filed late in March with amendments that you had recommended, and we set a date at that time for a public hearing, which is today. So after taking public comment, your options are to take final action, to request that staff continue to work on the petition, to file amended language, making changes during the public meeting, or to deny the petition in writing, stating the reasons for denial, specifically addressing the concerns stated in the petition, or indicating alternative means by which the agency will address the concerns raised. I believe that Michael Bizzo and Janice Bale may be here from as petitioners, and they might.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to let you know that I'll be voting against the motion today. And the reason why is because we've gained more information about the effects of increasing the speed of play on the psychology of those who are suffering with a gambling problem. And we have 4 different studies now that we didn't have access to last time that indicate that having easy access to funds such as through this proximity, such as having close proximity to ATMs, or being able to continue to play as this rule would allow, is directly correlated to instigating more problems for people suffering from an addiction. There was a consistent finding along this line that came from 11 different studies that showed that games with faster speed of play were preferred and rated as being exciting for all gamblers, but especially for those who are suffering from a gambling addiction. So for that reason, Madam Chair, I'm going to be voting no today.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Patterson. Any other comments?
I guess I'll add. So I, not to discount the points made by the Vice Chair, I think that they are reasonable and valid reasons for opposing this policy. But I think that we need to certainly take a holistic approach to problem and responsible gaming. We have licensees that are trained on a regular basis to be able to make those determinations and evaluations, can pause the player and have those types of conversations. It feels a lot to me like we would be, really trying to cram the toothpaste back into the tube. And currently it's allowed for players to go to an ATM and actually use money they don't have, take money on credit. So while speed of play certainly is a consideration, I think that we need to count on those folks that are in the gambling spaces and have a responsibility to evaluate their players, and if they're displaying signs of recklessness or irresponsible behavior, they're responsible to intervene. So for that reason, I believe that this, ultimately what is, a little bit of a technical or technological advance. It's something that is pretty easy. We're able to evaluate the equipment and make sure that it's sound and operating properly. So for that reason, I'll be supporting the motion.
It doesn't appear to me that this rule change benefits anyone other than the petitioner. I don't know how it is a benefit to the people in the state of Washington. I don't know that anyone has complained if they have to get up from their chair and walk over to an ATM machine. I don't know that any of our constituents have said that this creates a disincentive to them to go and enjoy gambling. I think that we're passing a rule that is designed specifically to benefit the petitioner and that has potentially serious impacts on people who are addicted to gambling. So thank you for letting me just make this final comment.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All those opposed?
No?
Great, the motion passes.